What is going down, my people? This is Passion for Truth coming at you with a long-awaited video. Sorry guys, it's been a little hectic the last 2 weeks. Last week we were in Florida, my girlfriend and I and the kiddos took a trip down to Florida. Had a great time. If I were to have it my way, I would go back and I would move to Florida, but for obvious reasons I cannot. But needless to say, the week before that was all preparation for the vacation, because a lot goes into preparing for such a thing when you got 6 kiddos. We got 5 of our own, and we adopted one for the week. And we went down there in a 12-passenger Ford Transit, which is a very comfortable ride, by the way, if anybody's wondering. Definitely the way to go when you got a bunch of kiddos on a long trip. So pretty awesome time that we had. That being said, like I said, sorry, it's been like 2 weeks, or actually it's been longer than 2 weeks since I made a video. I didn't want you guys thinking that I'd fallen off the face of the earth and that I had stopped doing these videos. So don't want to take that much time anymore doing video in between videos if I can help it. But anyways, what I want to talk about is since the 4th of July just passed and certain events have taken place that are kind of mysterious. The stones coming down yesterday, or day before yesterday. That event down in Georgia. Trying to be careful with what I say, because who knows what you can be kicked off of YouTube for anymore. So I might speak in code here, but just wanted to kind of give you guys my thoughts on that issue, and then dive into patriotism, what it means, and is it a good or bad thing? My thoughts on patriotism. Because they have most definitely changed drastically, probably in the last 4 or 5 years. But let's talk about the stones coming down. There's lots of theories. I'm kind of glad that I waited a little bit to make this video, because new information keeps coming out, and it just makes you wonder, like, why on earth, why do these videos come out several days later? Why can't they just show us these things right up front? To me, there's a bunch of nonsense going on about it. There's just some. I think they want to bring attention back to the stones for whatever reason, and what that is, I don't know. But there's a lot of theories on what happened to them. From lightning strike, in other words, an act of God taking out one of the stones, down to, was it directed energy weapon? Was it, or was it just a random person who didn't like the idea of these things? This eerie, creepy monument that they put up in 1980, talking about depopulation. Amongst other things, and the fact that they prove that we live on a flat stationary plane. That goes besides the point. Do I think that they brought them down to get rid of such evidence? Not really. There's just so much more evidence out there to support that we don't live on a globe. There's so much more evidence out there, so I don't think that's what it was. I'm more inclined to believe that they want to draw more attention to it for whatever reason, or they plan on building another monument there. Who knows what that might be? But some interesting things about it. The building just so happens to be 666 miles away from the United Nations. Fact check me on that. That's just what I have. That's just what I have come to see. People have posted, and I am taking them for their word. So don't quote me on that. That's just something that I have heard and seen. have not fact-checked that, okay? But supposedly it's 666 miles away from the United Nations. And it happened at 4 a.m., 3 minutes and 33 seconds, the whole 3:33 right there in plain sight. Are these just coincidences? That's up for you to ponder on, right? Some other things. So they caught supposedly there was a car fleeing the scene shortly thereafter, and then there's another video of a blurry video of somebody running to the stone and then running away from the stone around the same time. It's a blurry video, and it doesn't show anything other than a shadow figure running to the stone and then running away from the stone. You don't see them there long enough to plant a bomb or anything like that. So that's the other theory, that somebody placed a bomb there. But my take on it is, if you were, because I mean, if it was somebody that bombed it, they had to know what they were doing. So if you were to, because the way that these stones are constructed is there's a pillar in the center, and then there's 4 other pillars in this, and from the top view it almost looks like an X, right? But there's that center pillar in the middle that kind of holds the other pillars up, or the other stones up. So if you were a smart person and you were trying to wipe out this whole monument, wouldn't you go for the center pillar and bomb the hell out of that so that the other pillars fall with it? That would be the smart move if you were, a random person trying to take out such a monument. So that's why I don't really believe that it was just a random person who didn't like the monument being there. So there's that. Oh, and then there was also the time capsule that was also found and dug up, and there was 4 items in there, apparently, according to the Georgia Sheriff's Department. I think it was an 8-track Saturday Night Fever, 1979 Playboy that was signed by Burt Reynolds. What else is it? A Peterbilt, trucker's emblem. And what was the last one? It'll come to me in just a second, but they were pretty much irrelevant. They all kind of look like a bunch of stuff that a trucker might have. When you really think about it, it's kind of weird and bizarre. It just goes to show, man, that this is a clown world that we're living in. This is a clown world that we're living in, and everything is a meme. like my boy, shout out to Austin, Awesome Austin, for pointing that fact out. That we live in a meme world. This is a clown world that we're living in. Everything's so bizarre, but it seems to me that this is just another distraction to keep our minds off of whatever they're doing behind the scenes to further this new world order agenda. I don't know, I think I guess what kind of irritates me is a lot of people start speaking in terms of a matter of fact. Like, there's a lot of flat earthers, and flat earthers are guilty of this just like globers are, right? We're guilty of saying things as a matter of fact. Like, for instance, there's people out there saying that it was definitely a lightning strike, it was definitely an act of God, or it was definitely a directed energy weapon, or you know what I'm saying? Like, and they're talking like they know this as a fact when they don't. And I guess this is one of these things that just kind of irritates me, that we do as a community. I'll give you another, for instance. This is kind of silly. All right, this is something that really kind of bugs me. And I think what it is like when one truther sees another truther, and I don't even like using that term, but when one truther sees another truther post something, we automatically say, oh, that's got to be true. That's got to be true. I'm going to post it too, without doing any kind of research or fact checking on it. There's one that kind of drives me wild about sunglasses. I see a lot of truthers talk about like wearing sunglasses is bad, and that could be true. I'm not saying that's not true. Okay, there probably is some truth to the fact that when we don't wear sunglasses, we're allowing the sun to, download information into our pineal glands, right? And to the average person, that sounds ridiculous in itself. So I get it. But the part that bothers me is I see a bunch of people talking about, hey, if you wear sunglasses, you're more subject to getting sunburnt. And that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. It's one of the most ridiculous things. And I've heard some ridiculous things in the truther community. Because I'm here to tell you that I don't wear sunglasses very often. And whether I'm wearing sunglasses or not for a long period of time, if I'm out in the sun long enough, my ass is going to burn. I don't know about you, but my ass is going to burn regardless of whether I have sunglasses on. So let's stop saying dumb things like that. Let's stop putting out information that just because some other truther in the community posted that it's the gospel and that it's 100% factual, because that's just making us look dumb, guys. People aren't going to give us any bit of their attention if we're posting dumb shit like that. But that's my rant on that. Okay, that's my rant on that. So with the Stones in Georgia, a lot of interesting theories. Who knows what the truth is? Will we ever know the truth? Doubtfully. In my opinion, it's another distraction. That's all I've got to say about it. Let's see. So that brings me to, July 4th always makes me think of patriotism, because patriotism, and I know a lot of people are going to, if you're new to the community, or if you just stumbled across this video for whatever reasons and you're a patriot, this is probably going to make you spiral, and I get it, okay? But before you spiral, hear me out. Patriotism is a false illusion. Patriotism is a false illusion. What do I mean by that? Because myself, I'm a Navy veteran. I used to be the most patriotic person. I lived and died by it. It was a reason why I joined the military, because I was obsessed with freedom and fighting for country and fighting for your family. So I used to be a huge conservative Republican, if you want to say that, even though I've never registered Republican or Democrat. I've only voted once in my life. And then I realized that voting didn't freaking matter, and that's just my opinion. Don't go spiraling on that. But yeah, I used to be a huge conservative patriot, for, to use terminology that makes sense to the average person. And I used to think that we fought for freedom. I used to think that we fought for our country. And those are good and noble things, right? So what I'm saying is patriotism looks good on paper. It's kind of like socialism. Looks good on paper, but in reality, it's an illusion that we have been brainwashed with since the time we step foot in a classroom. And don't get me wrong, right? So the first time we step foot in the classroom, we start singing the national anthem, or we start singing the Pledge of Allegiance. It's indoctrinated into us that, we are America. We are the country that escaped from tyranny and came over here to the Americas, and we fought for that, right? And if you want to believe that, that's fine. And I'm not saying that we at one point that we didn't fight for those things. I'm not saying at one point that we didn't escape tyranny to come over here and build our own system. Okay, our own system of freedom. For me, I'm inclined to not believe in that history anymore, just because everything we have been told is a lie. So why would our history not be a lie too? So in other words, I question even those things. I question all of it now. And here's what I can tell you. In my time, as a matter of fact, anybody who's alive today, tell me one time that we have actually fought for freedom. Okay? Tell me one time that we have actually fought for this country. Freedom of religion. Tell me one time. Because if you say like, okay, 9/11, then my friend, your eyes are, you're dead asleep. You are dead asleep if you accept the narrative of 9/11. Okay? I was in the military. I was in the Navy during 9/11. And that was when I was a true patriot, man. I believed everything that they told us. Matter of fact, it was so indoctrinated into me. And I know a lot of people can relate to this. But after the events of 9/11, I had a strong hatred for Muslims. And I'm going to be careful with what I'm saying here, right? But I had a strong hatred for a certain group of people, okay? A strong hatred. To the point where, like, I didn't want to see them. Because if I saw them, my blood would just boil. And that's what that brainwashing and programming did to us. Just think about it. Like, how many times did they show planes crashing into two buildings at a certain point in time, right? And that playing over and over and over again in your head. And then you hear the story, the narrative that a certain group of people were responsible for it. And that led us into a never-ending war. That story, that lie, because if you believe that lie, I'm sorry for you, but that was a lie. It led us into a never-ending war that we are still in today, by the way. We're still battling today. All in the guise of patriotism. Does that make sense? Everything since any of us have been alive, anybody that's watching this video, anytime we have ever gone to war was based off of a lie. Under the guise of patriotism. They brainwash us to believe that we're fighting for freedom. Freedom of religion. They lead us to believe that we're fighting for our country and for our families. They pull on our heartstrings with these things. And they get us to fight their battles, to fill their pockets, to further their agenda. Has nothing to do with freedom. Has nothing to do with country. Has nothing to do with fighting family. None of these things. It's all to further their agenda. Therefore, patriotism is a false illusion. And we are brainwashed with it through movies, through TV shows, commercials, our education system, etc., etc. They brainwash us and program us with all these things, and they get us to fight their battles. They don't have to. They don't have to kill people. They get us to kill each other. They get us to fight these battles by pulling on our heartstrings and building these false illusions in our minds. And I've wanted to get this off my chest for a while, because so many of my friends, and I know a lot of you guys will be watching this video, so many of my friends that I love and that I respect are still falling for this illusion. They still believe that, that we fight for freedom in our country, and they still consider themselves very patriotic people. And like I said, on paper, it's a very noble thing. It's not a bad thing to be patriotic, to love your country. But just know that you're not fighting for these things. In my opinion, instead of letting your kid go off into the military to fight one of these ridiculous, pointless wars that fill the pockets of these rich, greedy, evil people, how about holding on to your kid and keeping them away from doing such a thing? That's my opinion. You know? That's my opinion. Not, you know, and I'm not saying that I don't have respect for these people. I do. I love and respect military men and women. But I just wish more of them understood what I'm talking about here. I really do. Because I don't want my kids growing up and going into the military and fighting these battles. No. I want my kids to grow up and be successful and live to see another day, damn it. But that's my opinion. So, this video is over 20 minutes long. I'm going to end it here. That's just my thoughts on patriotism. I thought now was a good time to kind of bring it up. And, yeah, until the next video, guys. This is my channel. It's my opinion. I got lots of them. If you don't like it, find another channel. That's all I got to say. I know this isn't going to resonate with everybody. I know there'll probably be some comments on the video. That's fine. Everybody's entitled to their opinions. And just know that I still love you. And that I'm here for if you need me. Regardless of our differences. But this is Passion for Truth signing out until the next video. Take care. God bless. And may you find truth. Peace.